Hello SRP,
Hello.
You've come to dispense your glasses?
Yes, please.
If you'd like to come and have a seat here for me, please. Right, we've had some new innovations which I'll be using during the time of this dispense. At one time we only had manual phosimeters. They've actually brought out a battery powered one now which I'll use to measure the prescription on some of these glasses that I'm going to show you.
Okay.
So I'm going to show you now some of our old style of frames and some of our new style. So this one is one of our older styles. I have a feeling this might not suit you very much, but there is that famous new actor stroke actress on screen called Dame Edna Everage, and he stroke she wears something like this, so it is good for a man to wear still.
Right.
Occasionally.
They're very unique, aren't they?
They are. Can you guess what material they're made from?
Is it tortoiseshell?
Not for this one. This one's called acetate.
Oh, right.
But you'll notice there's no frame at the bottom.
Mm.
What it is, there's a groove cut into the lens, and that's actually got nylon cord in it to hold it in place.
Got bifocal lenses as
It
well.
has, yes.
Yeah.
And they're called a round segment bifocal.
Right. Looking for something a little bit more
A bit more modern.
understated.
A little bit more modern.
Okay.
So now you've already guessed the material for something like this. So this one, it's almost a panto shape. I would actually say a quadrant shape because it's got flat edges. It's a fixed bridge and it's a full frame. See if you can guess what the material is for that. You should know it already.
Said it.
Yeah. And now actually that looks really good.
Right.
Very modern. I'm impressed with that.
Okay.
All right.
Are they sitting?
They're sitting nice and square.
Position.
They're a good width, and they're not tight at the side of your head here.
No.
They're not tight at all. So yes, that's a good one. I like that. I'm going to put that one separate because that's a possible. The next one I'm going to show you we might share a drink afterwards actually, because I'm finished work after this and I've got some of our most modern whiskies with me.
You are ahead of your times, aren't you?
This one is a rimless. So what you'll notice, the actual lens is only fastened in by this screw on each side. The rest of the lens is free. The frame itself, it's a solid edge all the way around, and then you've got the screws with the sides fastened in. It is a precious metal and it's got nose pads. The nose pads are not adjustable though, but they do waggle a little bit so that they suit the different shaped noses.
Right. Shall I try them on?
You can, yes. There isn't much to see on that, but I would say that the sides aren't really long enough. Apart from that, it's a good fit.
Very
Now,
unique.
I actually have a gadget here. This is, like I said, about the new innovations of gadgets. This is designed for drilling the holes in the rimless. So we've got a screw to turn here. That would then slide onto the lens where you want it to drill. So we'll just imagine I'm drilling it at this point. You tighten that up so that it's a snug fit. You then get your drill bit. These are the correct size drill bits, so that's why I've got them here. And you would fit that into your drill. And then once that's fitted into your drill or your reamer, you then place it into the hole at the top there, and using your drill, you turn that and it'll cut through the lens. When it's gone far enough, there is a stop at the other side, so that'll stop it from turning any further. You just undo it again and pull it out, and you've got your hole.
So if I pick some rimless frames today, that's how
they're made at the moment, the most modern fashion. They're the most modern way. No doubt they'll think of a better way later on in life. Can't wait till they do proper electric drills.
I like those frames there.
Yeah, we'll come to them in a moment.
Look at those next.
Yeah. Do you like my modern frame display?
It's very good, isn't it?
Yes. All nuts and bolts. It's a lot of nuts and bolts that can come loose. Right, so with this one, this is precious metal again, but it's had a coating. It's got a. This can actually peel off, so you could put different colours on it. But you can't peel the sides off, so if you change the colour on the front, it'll look odd to the side. The sides are a curl side, which is very flexible, so that can be brought around behind your ears. What I will say is, if you try this on, you'll probably find it's not quite long enough, because that's only a short side.
Right.
Again, it has nose pads, but again, they're not adjustable, but they are nice and smooth.
Amazing. Yeah, just a little bit short on the side.
Yeah,
Something of this lens size would be very good for close work.
they're brilliant, aren't they? And again, very fashionable. Superb for this day and age. Thank you. I'm going to move on to the next tortoiseshell. This one has a different shaped bridge. So I'm going to pick up the one you had before, and you'll notice that it was a straight round edge bridge. With this one, it has what's called a keyhole bridge. This is designed so that more people with different sized noses, this will fit them comfortably. I think this one will fit you well. It's whether you like the style. And actually that's closer to the eye size of that last frame you've tried.
I
So
like these.
it's a good fit. Length of the side just about long enough.
Be perfect for reading.
Yep, and that's actually what you need for your glasses anyway, is reading glasses. So we'll keep that one to the side. I've now got one different shape lens. This one's oval shaped, and this is smaller than you've been wearing. The advantage of this one, this is no pads, it is a precious metal, so it's hypoallergenic. Your nose sits on the loop of the frame, and this wraps around. But a good example now is if you was wearing the glasses and you had to keep moving about, you put a string through the loops and fasten it to your head so it can't come off. Or you can have a longer string and have it hanging down your neck.
Yeah.
Another new modern innovation.
Oh, those lenses are very small.
But that frame is comfortable, isn't it?
Not as comfortable as the tortoiseshell one.
No. But for a precious metal one, that's very comfortable.
Just my field of view is very...
But of course you only need to look through it for reading.
Yeah.
So you
But
want
not
to do your
turning
writing
my
at the
head too
desk, remembering that you're sitting at your desk all the time to do your work, and you can actually see the work you're doing very, very comfortably with that. But it also means you can look over the top of the lens if somebody comes into your room. Now this one is a little bit different. So this particular one, you'll notice now, it's got two little V-shapes inside the lens. Now the advantage of that is you actually only glaze this part at the bottom. So that's got your reading prescription. You don't need distance glasses, so that is left free. So you can read through the bottom part and still see everybody around the room through the top part.
A good idea, aren't they?
Brilliant, aren't they?
Plenty of distance.
The latest innovation. I think they call that a bifocal lens. I'll have to look that terminology up. But to have the reading at the bottom and effectively your distance at the top, although it's no lens at the top.
Similar material to the other two?
They are tortoiseshell as well.
Seem to be drawn towards those. I just think they're very comfortable.
Here's something you might not have known. The darker the frame, the better the quality of the tortoiseshell. So when I show you the lighter colours, they're still tortoiseshell, but their quality isn't quite as good. I think it's the diet they've had.
So that's the darkest of the three.
Now I've got a nice round eye, and this time it's a wraparound on the tortoiseshell. That's the only wraparound I've got in the tortoiseshell.
Right.
But the round eye is what you've favoured in the metal frames.
See how they feel. They're quite flexible as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
Just feel a little bit lopsided.
That might be because I've had them a while. But they're easy enough for me to put right. For me to adjust those, I put a pan of water on the stove and I get the steam on, and then I use the steam to warm it up and to adjust it.
Right. Maybe it's just my facial dimensions.
No, it's the frame.
Right. Okay.
It's definitely the frame.
You're too kind.
I'll show you. Look, that side's on the table, that side's up in the air, so it is definitely the frame. So that was nice as well on you. And I've got one now. This is completely different. It's not the last one I'll be showing you. So this one, I can show it you like that, and that is how you would store it. You would have a chain on here, and you'd have it either clipped to a pocket so that you can, when you're finished with it, put it in the pocket, or have it hanging around your neck. Same way that the monocles work. This one, you open it up, and it's not opening it to there and putting that on your nose. You open it slightly further and you hold that in front of your eyes. Fantastic for things like theatre and opera. So have a look through that. It's got quite a strong lens in it, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Because it would be used for close work a lot.
Right. But you could have your distance in for the theatre.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unique, but like you say, my distance isn't really necessary, is it?
No. And of course, if you're writing, you're not going to hold on to this while you're writing.
No, I want something that...
Now I have some which I keep in the cases, and I think you'll like these. One of them is more practical than the other, and I'll give you the more practical one to start with. So you've got here, this is a white precious metal, very, very fine, but also very strong. And you'll notice the side length is a lot longer than on that last curl side I gave you. It's an oval shaped lens, and again, it's a fixed bridge, and it's a loop that sits on your nose. Because it's a precious metal, it's hypoallergenic. So if you want to try them on, I think that one will fit you, but you will need to stretch the sides to pull them round your ears.
Just about.
Yeah. You look very studious.
Do I?
Yeah.
Not stupid.
They look good, but what does it feel like?
it's quite a good fit. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just about right.
And your eyes are right in the middle of the lens, so that's a really good fit.
Mm.
So that might be a good rival against the tortoiseshell ones.
I'm still drawn towards those tortoiseshells. They're just
Yeah.
unrivaled comfort.
And the last one I'm going to show you. And do you like how neat these cases are as well? The new modern case. Very flat. It is metal, so it's nice and tough. It'll take a battery. And very slim. It'll fit in your shirt pocket. Try it. Perfect. So now this is designed in such a way that you could wear it the same way you would a monocle. Can you remember what the monocles are like? They're a single lens, and they sit on, and then you squint up your eye over it, and that'll lock it into place. The difference with this is you've got your pads, so that'll rest on your nose, and you've got it on both eyes. Now, because it's for reading, what you've got a loop on a chain. It's a very fine chain, so we could perhaps do a better chain, a stronger chain for you, and it would need to be longer than this, but at least you could try that. And you'll find that it sits on your nose. That's upside down. You see where the pads are? That's it. And then you'd have them resting on your nose. You'd loop that behind your ear. That will hold them in place.
Well, I'm not going to stretch them, but they're a little bit small.
Yeah.
Like so.
Yeah, so you'd be able to do your reading and writing. You'd loop that behind your ear so that they won't drop off. And that's ideal for your reading. And nobody can see the glasses on you.
Thank you.
Right, so that's a nice selection. I'll challenge you in this day and age to find an optician's with more choice than that. Right, so that's all the frames.
Yes.
We've gone through them all now, so it's a case of let's have a look and see what you think.
Maybe just a little bit small in the side there.
So we'll get rid of that one. For me, this one is the most exciting one.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot different.
Yeah. Just want the side making just a little bit longer.
Yeah, well, we can adjust that.
Yeah. I like the idea of being able to keep them on.
Yeah.
And then to look down to read and write. And I think this line here, if we imagine that the lens is there,
it's perfectly level with your bottom lid, which is perfect.
but I've got a good distance field of view as well.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel too restricted.
That's right.
And then just looking under the finger,
you'll be able to read easily.
it's a good area.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, if you could measure me up for those.
All right. I'm just going to remove these from here. So, when you had your eyes tested at See More Clearly's, was it a good eye test, do you feel?
Yeah, it was thorough.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
That's all right. I know it's not my opticians, but Seymour Clearlys are a well-known opticians round here.
Better than Seymour Butts.
Yes. I'm just going to do some measurements on a few lenses now. So this is one of the latest equipment to come out. Instead of having to use a manual fusimeter or lens meter, we've now got battery operated, which is really clever.
Does it save time for you?
A lot, and it's so much easier to take a reading off the lens. So that slots onto its case, and this then slots into place here. Perhaps it goes that way across. I'm just going to pick this up because
It's all very new, isn't it? That's why.
it is. It's trying to work it out exactly the right way to go. That's it. I found a way. That's better. So now that's all set up. We've got the batteries in there. So this puts so that it'll grip the lens. And I'm going to pick up this lens. Now this particular lens is a photochromic lens. It's very, very new. Bet you've never seen a lens that goes dark in the sunlight, have you?
No.
So I'm just going to pick this up to use it because I can't bend my head down to there. So I'll slot this lens into here, and as I look down into this, I forgot where the on and off switch is. Ah, it's on.
Should be automatic.
Yeah. Right, so that's got the prescription sorted.
Is that going to be the same prescription into the reading?
This isn't your prescription. I'm just picking this up to show you the new equipment. So, but now what I'm going to show you is it works, it goes dark through ultraviolet light. This is why it's not been done before, because people haven't been able to work out something to do with that. So I've got an ultraviolet light here, and I'm just going to put this over the lens and let this work just for a minute. And what we'll notice is that there's a dark spot on the lens now.
Is this something we're going to incorporate into the glasses, possibly?
If you do reading outside, it's worth doing, but if you only read indoors, we won't. But
No, I think that's a good idea, as long as they're clear inside.
this does say it's a brown lens. It's taking longer to react than I thought it would.
Well, it's all new, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can
It's
see it.
just starting to go.
Yeah,
You can see the little spots where,
against the paper, yes.
Yeah. well, in fact, if I pick it up, it'll be easier to see then, won't it? You can just about see the little dots.
Yes, yes.
From,
Brilliant.
so that's all new. So you wouldn't want to shine that in people's eyes.
No.
Not like a normal torch where, yeah, all right, it's a bit glary for a second. But with that, it could do damage because of it being ultraviolet. You see, your prescription is more like a +2 for your reading. This one is a -3, so it's completely the opposite way. Something else that's new now, because they're just starting to bring out plastic lenses, and they now have them in different indexes, so that's different thicknesses. So this is close to your prescription.
Okay.
This is a standard thickness lens, so you can have a look at that. And that has a coating on it which is designed to help against bright lights and reflections.
Yeah, it's a good
A
thing.
new innovation. The only downfall with it at the moment, because it's so new, it gets dirty very quickly, so you'll find you're having to clean your lenses a lot more.
Okay.
But in general, it's a brilliant thing because everything is clearer. But now I've got some lenses. These are minus, but these are very strong lenses. Now this particular one is a 1.7 index. This is about 35 to 40% thinner than the standard lens. It still looks very thick, but it's a very high prescription. That's about a -8.
So a standard index would be much thicker.
And much
at the
thicker,
sides.
yes. You're talking a third thicker on top of that.
Yeah. So it's thinnest there and thickest at the side, isn't it? Being
It is, yeah, being a minus. Makes everything look a lot smaller though when you
Yes.
look through it, doesn't
Yeah.
it? And then this one is not quite as thin. This is about 25% thinner. So this actually is a smaller prescription than the last one, because it's not as thin a lens. You can see the difference. You can feel the difference in the weight.
Yeah, slightly heavier. Did you say these are plastic lenses?
Yes.
Just
You imagine when it used to be glass all the time, the weight difference.
Yeah. It's quite light still though, for
Yeah.
the size.
Yeah. So all this is the sign of the future.
So if we could do plastic lenses with a photochromic.
Well, at the moment we can't get them in plastic with the photochromic. That'll be something in the future. That will be available in the future. You see now, here's something. I've heard rumours that they're going to stop, or they're going to introduce plastic lens magnifiers. At the moment this is glass, and that's how they're all made, but they're starting to bring out plastic magnifiers, which when you feel the weight of that, you imagine you're going to hold that over your page all the time.
Yeah.
That gets very heavy after a few hours.
Yeah. You're inclined to use
So-
2 hands, aren't you?
Yeah. So with a plastic magnifier, that's going to be a lot easier.
Doesn't seem too high strength though. What times magnification is this? 2.
2 times. If you want a smaller, a greater magnification, you're going to need a smaller lens shape.
Yeah.
And I've heard as well, they've brought out some, in fact, I've managed to get hold of one, battery operated magnifiers, but the batteries are unreliable and you can put them in and they might only last a day. I've got one here. I'll be happier when they make them with smaller, where they use smaller batteries. But you can see that these are still quite small. But there is that new innovation, isn't there, where they're working on smaller batteries now to help, because the batteries themselves weigh a lot. And so you would turn that on, you see the batteries have gone on this already. You have a look at that, it's quite heavy because of them batteries.
Oh wow.
That's very
10
magnified,
times.
isn't it? And how that works, you place it on what you want to read, and that's got the exact focal length. You know, at the moment we've still got some magnifiers. They're called self-lighting magnifiers, and they've got a very convex top surface, and they're on a stand. But when you put them down onto the surface, they draw the light from all around, and that's called a self-lighting. So the material's lit up without having to use any power. So this, at the moment, I don't rate these yet. But I know they're going to be very good in the future.
Okay. Do you have to take any measurements for me?
I have got to do some. It's only a couple. And I need to write down what frames you're doing for you. what model number is this one? So that's called a half rim, due to the fact that it only glazes half of the lens. And you'd like them in, would you like the plastic lens or do you want the glass lens with the...
It's going to have to be glass if I want the
Yeah, so...
photochromic.
Although, with that frame, would that be a good option? The reason I say it is, you've got no frame at the top. Where does the sun come in from? The top. I think you'd be better off try the plastic, have it nice and light, and leave it without the photochromic.
It's just when the light's a bit bright on the page.
Right. But there again, we need more light to read, don't we?
We'll try the plastic then.
Okay. Excellent. Let's just measure your pupil distance now. So if you can look at my finger. That's 61. So I don't do a monocular reading because it's for pupil distance measurement, because it's for the reading, and so your eyes are drawn in to read and to write, of course. So I've got you to look at my finger and it's turned your eyes in, so it's a smaller measurement than when I do for your distance. Alright. I think we've covered everything today.
Okay, you send me a letter when they're ready.
Well, we might even deliver them because you're only down the road.
Okay.
Alright.
Alright, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.